This is Eddie Spaghetti from the greatest rock and roll band in the world, the Supersuckers. And I am here with Nate on the Vinyl Guide.
Hey, record nerds, have you seen the GOAT? I mean the GOAT Hair Wet and Dry Record Brush from Groove Washer. Clean and care for your records with the true GOAT of the game, the Groove Washer. Ask your store or go to groovewasher.com, stock up on cleaning supplies, and get the GOAT 10% off with discount code VinylGuide10. Get the GOAT Hair Record Brush at Groove Washer.
And now, on with the show. Welcome to the Vinyl Guide, the podcast for record collectors and music nerds. Here's your host, the biggest record nerd of them all, Nate Goyer.
Well, hello everyone, it's Nate. Welcome to the Vinyl Guide podcast, episode 483, if my memory serves me correctly. This is the podcast for record collectors and music nerds, but everyone else is welcome as well. Ladies and gentlemen, this morning I had a conversation with Mr. Eddie Spaghetti of the Supersuckers, and he is excited. We are excited. They are on their way down to Australia right now. A tour with Nashville Pussy starts later this week in Sydney. So if anyone here is keen to see a jet-lagged Eddie Spaghetti and crew kick ass at the Manning Bar, well, I will be there as well. DM me and we'll do a couple of drinks. Eddie and I talked all about the Supersuckers' extensive recorded catalog of music. We talked about upcoming releases, vinyl reissues, the Sub Pop years. We talked about songwriting. Eddie and I even spoke about his Instagram bathroom documentation hobby. And it's not as gross as that sounds, quite honestly. We also talk about the Supersuckers' unreleased Interscope album, as well as hearing stories about merch table oddities and Eddie's evolution from new wave music fan to king swing and rock star, and of course, being humble as well. Again, Australia, make sure you check out Supersuckers touring with Nashville Pussy. Again, they're on the plane right now. Sydney, Melbourne, Brisbane, Adelaide. Tickets at hardlinemedia.net, or just Google them up and enjoy the double bill of power and grab some vinyl from the merch booth. That's Supersuckers and Nashville Pussy in Australia, January 2025. And ladies and gentlemen, before we start today's interview, I beseech you, please leave us a positive review on Apple Podcasts or Spotify. Make sure you're following the Vinyl Guide podcast. Click that little checkbox or the follow button or whatever on your podcast app. Make sure you do not miss another episode. We've got 480 something other episodes available for you to enjoy anytime, including Tim Ripper Owens, episode 478, Cook, Craig, and Lucas Harwood of King Gizzard and the Lizard Wizard, episodes 469 and 474. And wow, Jerry Cantrell of Alice in Chains joined us, episode 467, as well as Eddie Kramer, producer of Jimi Hendrix and Led Zeppelin, episode 466. Matt Pike and Cody Willis of High on Fire. We even had Jack Douglas, producer of John Lennon and Yoko albums Double Fantasy. It's a two-parter, episodes 439 and 440. Again, if you just follow the Vinyl Guide podcast in your podcast app, you get access to all of these for free anytime. And that comes, of course, with words from our sponsor. If you want the commercial-free version, well, you gotta join us at patreon.com/vinylguide. Head up there now, help support this podcast, and we are forever grateful. Alrighty, enough with the jibber jabber. Let's get into our conversation with Eddie Spaghetti of Supersuckers. Ladies and gentlemen, this week on the Vinyl Guide, we are welcoming Mr. Eddie Spaghetti of Supersuckers. They are coming to Australia. In fact, probably in Australia right now. They're touring with Nashville Pussy, Sydney, Brisbane, Melbourne, Adelaide. Tickets can be had at hardlinemedia.net. Do not miss these shows. Eddie, how are you? Are you in Australia yet? Let me ask.
I'm not. I'm still home.
Oh,
I leave
okay.
Tomorrow.
Okay. Got your bags packed, or is that?
Yeah, I'm packing them right now.
Okay. Any special provisions you bring when you come to Australia?
No, just shorts and flip-flops because it's hot down there now.
You'll definitely need them. You'll need some. Yeah, you'll need some swimmers too. It's been raining a lot. So
yeah.
By the way, lots of vinyl is available from the Supersuckers catalog at supersuckers.com. Are you a bit of a record nerd? A lot of our show is about record collecting and media, merch, and that sort of thing. Do you have a record collection, Eddie?
I have a record collection. I don't consider myself like a collector. But I mean, I have a bunch of records because that's what I did for years. I bought records. And so I have a bunch. I'm not, but they're not like in plastic envelopes or pristinely kept or anything. In fact, most of them are ruined because my cats clawed all the ends of them. So.
All right. I see where you're at on the spectrum here. Okay, so do you go to record shops anymore? Do you buy records, or is that kind of a thing of the past?
I do. Occasionally I'll go to a record store. I like to buy I'll still buy records. That never really stopped for me. I know it's in vogue again to buy records, but I never really stopped. So I'm a dinosaur though.
Yeah. Well, many of us are, but is that your preferred mode of listening, or you kind of don't care? You do streaming, CDs?
Yeah, anymore. I just, like everybody else, I listen to it on my phone, but I do. We have a dedicated turntable in the house and stuff like that. So our family definitely is aware of the old technology.
Invented by Edison, and we're still using it.
Exactly.
So, because one thing I've noticed is a lot of your material, a lot of your catalog has been reissued on vinyl. I think most of it, your solo and Supersuckers. Is there anything that's not available on vinyl?
No, I don't think so. I think it all has been at one time or another.
Yeah. Okay. Because I saw for a while, Must Have Been High was, I think, the outlier of the group, but that's now being pressed out of Italy.
Yeah, this guy he was granted a run of, I think, 2,500 or something like that. So there's a little bit of them from Italy, but we're going to have Sub Pop is going to repress Must Have Been High for the 30th anniversary. So in 2 years, we'll have a whole bunch of Must Have Been Highs again.
Okay. Because one thing that kind of struck me is on Must Have Been High, there was a designation on the record about remaining in the analog sphere. It was used several microphones, Neumann microphones, and having it all in the analog sphere up until mastering. Do you recall that kind of disclaimer?
I do. That was a thing that Randall, the guy who produced it, was real keen on having that be the thing.
Okay. Was the band kind of into it, or were they kind of shrugging like, okay, whatever?
Yeah, I mean, we didn't really give a shit. It was cool, but we just wanted to make a good sounding record. I still don't really care about being authentic in the studio, like, oh, this is the reverb that Johnny Cash used. I just want it to sound good. I don't give a shit about that.
Right. No, fair enough. Okay. So the reissue out of Italy, because there's a lot of counterfeits that come out of Italy. And so I just wanted to verify.
Listen, it's kind of a counterfeit, to be honest. It's, it's not state sanctioned product, really. It's just some guy in Italy wanted to make them, and he asked if it'd be okay. And I thought, well, I don't know. It's not really a question for me. It's a Sub Pop record. And he said he got permission from Sub Pop. So I said, well, let's see how it goes.
Okay. All right. So that was, I guess the only way it's official is that you know about it.
Right. Exactly. We didn't do it completely behind my back.
Yeah. So you don't know if he had access to masters or anything like that. Maybe just a CD.
I think he probably did it from a CD. Yeah.
Okay, fair enough. But these upcoming Sub Pop ones will be from the masters, as far as you know.
Right. The whole real deal. Yeah.
Okay. Sacrilegious as well. Is that?
Yeah, that's coming out this year.
Okay. Do you guys put vinyl on the merch table? Do you bring that out with you when you tour?
We do. We'll have a bunch with us in Australia.
Ooh, excellent. All right. So that bag you've got packed is pretty heavy at the moment, I would imagine.
It does. Yeah. The suitcases are heavy going.
Now, in the career of the Supersuckers, there's a whole lot of releases, your solo releases as well, a lot of 7-inches as well. Do you have a preferred kind of thing, or it doesn't really matter too much to you?
No, it's usually something that's more fun for a label to come up with creative ways to, package the music. For me, I just want the music to sound good. And, after the fact, it's fun to have it on different formats and to see your record on a cassette, It's weird that the cassettes have made a resurgence because that was an awful format. But, nostalgia is a powerful drug.
Well, you had to have something to play in your Toyota Corolla.
Exactly. It was dynamite, back then. But now they I think they've done better than the cassette.
So you grew up in Tucson, yeah?
Yeah.
If we were to go back to young Eddie Spaghetti's music collection in his room, what would we find?
Well, my first love was kind of like, I guess, new wave sort of music when I was a kid. Like, I liked Blondie a lot. I liked the Cars. I liked, my first favorite song of all time was My Sharona by the Knack.
Mm-hmm.
So that was kind of like early Eddie Spaghetti would be, very new wave set. But the first record I ever bought with my own money was Pat Benatar, Crimes of Passion.
Ah,
So
okay.
that's kind of the world that I started in anyway.
Okay. Is there any sort of record or song that you credit to kind of forming your perspective, your style of music?
Yeah, My Sharona. Pretty much.
Sharona.
As soon as I heard that song, I knew what was in store for me.
Okay.
I made up my mind at that moment and I haven't really looked back since.
There was no plan B.
No plan B.
You had the 45 of My Sharona, or did you get the
I
whole
do.
album?
I still have it.
Is it the one with the girl on the front that you could kind of see her nipples through her tank top?
Yeah.
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 I looked at that a lot when I was young too.
Me too.
Okay, so so My Sharona. Did you discover punk? Was there anything harder in Tucson that you can get your hands on at that point?
Well, for me, punk rock, I like punk rock, but really when I say I like punk rock, what I mean is I like the Ramones.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not I don't like punk rock. I don't like DRI or the Adolescents or Black Flag or, this real punky punk rock. Doesn't resonate with me, but I do like the Ramones and I like that Sex Pistols record a lot. And if that's punk rock, then I'm on board.
Mm-hmm. And country, was country kind of folded in on that, or was that something that came later?
Country was a later sort of thing for me because growing up in Arizona, I really wanted nothing to do with country music. I hated everything about the people who listened to country music around me. There was, in my school, there was some cliques, and one of them was the Cowboys, and they were all like, Wrangler jean wearing, Stetson hat wearing, iron shirts all tucked in, and their big belt buckles. And I hated it. They made fun of me because I had long hair and listened to rock and roll. And, so it was like, these things should never be together. And then later, as I got into listening and making up music on my own, I started listening to some country songs and just found myself infatuated with the lyrics and how when you write a country song, the words really have to matter or your song doesn't hit. Mm-hmm. And so that was a great exercise for me to start trying to write country songs. And that's how Must Have Been High was born.
Oh, okay. So that late when you started kind of dissecting country music.
It was before then, but it was by then when I felt compelled to actually make some of my own.
One thing that I really admire about your songwriting is the clever turn of a word, the phrasing. It seems to be very surprising and compelling. Do you start with the lyrics and then mold the music to it, or do you start with kind of an idea of a riff, or does it all kind of come naturally and organically together?
Oftentimes I'll start with a title. Most of the songs will start with a title. I have like that's going to be a great song title. And when I have the title, I can kind of hear the chorus already being sung. Mm-hmm. So I start there usually.
And are you quite prolific? Is this something that are you songwriting every week, every day, or is it sporadic?
Yeah, I tend to write, I don't know, a little something every day. And I've been doing this thing lately where I've been asking people to commission songs from me. So I'll charge somebody $500 and they'll give me information and I'll make a song for them. And that's been a really fun thing for me to do lately. I've been doing a lot of that.
Oh, okay. All right. So someone who wants to kind of have a song for their girlfriend or a song about their favorite dog or whatever like that.
Exactly. Yeah. And I'll make them a little Eddie Spaghetti ditty and I'll record it all up in my computer and it'll sound like a band is playing it. It's a real cool thing to get.
Wow. Okay. How do people get a hold of you for that?
I guess through Instagram would be probably the easiest way, or I have a Venmo and PayPal. It's the best way to pay and give me the information at the same time.
So you kind of exercise that muscle quite regularly. It has been a while since we've seen a new Supersuckers record.
It's unfortunate because we recorded a new record over a year ago now, and that process it took longer to get it recorded because I had a death in our family and had to pause the recording, and then we had to go back to it, and then the mixing has been taking forever because the guy who's mixing it is actually, he works for Brendan O'Brien, and they've been busy doing Metallica crap for the last 2 years. So we're like kind of on the back burner to fucking Metallica, and it's just aggravating.
Oh,
but the record is done and it's fantastic. It'll be out this year.
It will be out in 2025.
Yeah, for sure.
You guarantee that's an Eddie Spaghetti guarantee.
That's lock that in.
Very good. Okay, well, when that's available on vinyl, I'm assuming it'll be on vinyl. Do you know what label it'll be on? Is you cranking up mid-fi again, or is it going to be something else?
No, it'll be on a label called Hard Charger. We just signed a new record deal, so the disappointment is yet to ensue with that.
I've heard of Hard Charger before. Who else is on Hard Charger?
It's a Jesse Dayton label. I don't know if you're familiar with Jesse Dayton. He's a Texas artist, and
okay.
He's a kind of an entrepreneur-y kind of guy, and started a label, and he's a friend, and he's been an advocate of the Supersuckers.
Oh, very good. Okay. Now, do you control all the Supersuckers material at the moment?
Yes.
Okay. So
yeah, we own it all now.
Okay. All right. Nothing left outside the sphere. Nothing you're still chasing up.
Other than the Interscope record that never got released, I believe that we have carte blanche on all of it.
Okay. Now, I've heard this story. I'm familiar with it. But for listeners who may not be, can you summarize what led us to that unreleased record? Hey there, audiophiles. If you're seeking stylish furniture to showcase your stereo and record collection, well, look no further than SidetrackedWorkshop.com. Sidetracked Workshop designs extraordinarily elegant record cabinets and consoles that add sophistication and panache to your music hobby. Handcrafted in the good old USA in the vinyl-loving city of Portland, Oregon, Sidetracked Workshop's designs are a music lover's dream. Made with real walnut veneered wood and brass accents, these gorgeous designs add class and taste to the record room and ship fully assembled and ready to enjoy. Just check out the designs for yourself at SidetrackedWorkshop.com. Look, you spend thousands of dollars on records. Don't keep them in a crate, and don't risk your records on those feeble wooden pegs from IKEA. Your music deserves the dignity of Sidetracked Workshop. That's SidetrackedWorkshop.com. Elegant solutions for the vinyl lifestyle. Oh, and hey, record nerds, don't forget to clean your records with the very best and safest record cleaner, the Groove Washer. Make your records look and sound their very best and store them with confidence using the new Groove Washer Groove Guard record sleeves. You gotta try this out. It makes a huge difference to the quality of your vinyl experience. Ask for the Groove Washer by name at your local record store and accept no substitutes. Or head over to groovewasher.com and use discount code VinylGuide10.
All hail the Groove Washer.
That's groovewasher.com, discount code VinylGuide10. Okay, now I've heard this story. I'm familiar with it. But for listeners who may not be, can you summarize what led us to that unreleased record?
Well, in the end of the 90s, we left Sub Pop in order to sign with Interscope Records, and that was a big move up. That's like you're going to play pro ball. And we thought, well, here it is. Our ship has finally arrived. And we recorded a record that sounds real cool with a guy named Tom Warman, who was a big deal producer. He did Motley Crue and Cheap Trick and Ted Nugent and Molly Hatchet. He did all sorts of great rock. And so we have this record that we recorded with him, and Interscope decided that it just wasn't right because, frankly, it doesn't sound anything like Limp Bizkit, which is what they wanted at the time. So
Got it. Okay.
we got axed and we got dropped, and we couldn't even release the record. We had to re-record the record, which most of the songs are on a record called The Evil Powers of Rock and Roll. but it's still a completely different record.
Do you think at any point we'd see the light of day, the original version?
I think we're starting to make plans to put that thing out. I just talked to our guy a couple of days ago about that, so
okay.
I think that we will get that out.
Because after some sort of after some sort of period of time, does it revert back to you guys? Is that how it works?
Well, with the Interscope record, we don't know because nobody who worked there then works there now. And we haven't really looked into it too much. So we're about to have all the answers to that.
Ooh, interesting. All right. Well, I look forward to that. That would be a bit of a historic document. So everything except that is you guys can repress, reissue, all that stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, in the earlier part of your career, as you were signing to Sub Pop or before, there were some 7-inch singles. There was Gravity Bill on Lucky Records. Is that the first time you were on vinyl?
Possibly. Yeah. It was close to it. Either that or the Sympathy for the Record Industry single of, what was it? Poor, maybe? Can't remember.
Okay.
What they did.
There was a few. There's Empty Records, Sympathy for the Record Industry, a few others. But this is pre-Sub Pop, or you were on Sub Pop, but they just didn't care if you worked with other labels?
No, it was pre-Sub Pop. And there's a record called The Songs All Sound the Same, which is a compilation of all those singles that we did before we got signed to Sub Pop.
Got it. Okay. And Gravity Bill was sung by a gentleman named Eduardo Caliente. What do you know about that guy? Whatever happened to him?
Well, I know that it was a cooler name than Eddie Spaghetti. He should have stuck with it.
Were you Eddie Spaghetti back then?
I was, but I was kind of trying to deny it because I never really liked being Eddie Spaghetti. It's just something I've been called ever since I was a little kid. And I just kind of took it and used it to, I'm going to turn the tables on that. I'm going to actually use it. I'm going to make it mine. And it was an insult as a kid, it was just Eddie Spaghetti, rah, rah, rah. So I wasn't a fan. I still feel like on the table the entire time was Eddie Machete.
Ooh.
I could have been Eddie Machete. I mean, this disappointment abounds.
But you've embraced your trauma, and
I have, yes.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So Eddie Spaghetti. Now, and it seems everyone who comes in Supersuckers, they have to have a nickname, right? That's just the rule.
That's kind of the rule. Yeah.
Yeah. How do you give those nicknames? How are they dispatched?
Well, they usually come predetermined.
Okay.
Usually it's just something that organically occurs. It's hard to force a nickname onto somebody. It has to just sort of happen.
But so when someone joins, I know you haven't had too many lineup changes recently, but when in the past when someone new would come in, it's like, okay, all right, we have to have some sort of moniker, something. You've never assigned one,
right? No, it's usually something that starts with their name, some sort of play on their name. Like our old drummer was Dan Siegel, and he became Dancing Eagle. Yeah, it's not complicated.
Now, frequently on Instagram, you post images of the bathrooms around the world.
I do.
How did that start?
I can't remember how that started. It was I posted one. There's one disgusting bathroom somewhere, and I posted a picture of it, and I was like, "This is where we work tonight." And I guess there's something about it caught my imagination. It's an easy way to stay to keep posts coming.
Right.
I'm not like a content guy. I despise the fact that I have to create content now. In addition to my music that I make, I have to be a face on the internet. I'm too old. I'm too ugly for it. I don't want my face on the internet. I don't want to have to tell people what I'm doing. So it's a good way to kind of be on the internet without actually having to be on the internet.
Well, that makes sense because look, every day you see a new bathroom.
Right.
So you're in a very unique position. I won't say admirable, but you're a unique position.
Yeah. I steer clear of words like that.
Now, do you have any particular personal favorites? Is there anything you look for in a bathroom? Anything you appreciate that maybe the commoner like ourselves would not quite have the eye for?
Well, there's got to be some dicks on the wall. In order for it to be a truly valid dirty shithole, somebody has to have drawn some penises on the wall. So that's one of the first things we look for.
Okay, that's table stakes. So you need to have dicks drawn on the wall.
Right, just to get in the game.
Okay, all right. What else? How about not having been cleaned in at least a week?
Yeah, that's usual. And you can't. The only downside to the posts is that you can't really get the smell in there. You just have to describe this, or if it's awful.
Okay, so you're going to be in Australia soon. How would you rate Australia's bathrooms compared to many others you've seen around the world?
On par.
On par?
Not savagely awful or better in any way. Just average. And unlike, say, like a place like Italy, who has notoriously awful bathrooms, or France, these people poop over holes in the ground.
Okay. So they're the nadir. Okay. Best bathrooms in the world?
Best bathrooms in the world, probably somewhere in Scandinavia, like Norway or Sweden or something. They're very clean up there.
So in terms of reissuing your vinyl, now, whenever things are reissued, like you mentioned pressings from Italy, must have been high from Italy, and a few others. You'll also have things like Old Number 2, your solo record, which was recently reissued by Reptilian in Baltimore. Are you involved in that, or they just call you and they say, "Hey, Eddie, we want to do this. We got an idea," and you say yay or nay?
Well, Chris X from from Reptilian has been a champion of the band since the 1900s, and he's one of those relationships that we've had that hasn't gone sour, and we've been working with him for over 30 years, I think. And he's just he's an independent dude, does things on his own, and he's kind of our he's our vinyl guy. Like, he does all the mid-fi product, and but he does it through the Reptilian label. So all the vinyl has been done by him lately. And now with the Hard Charger contract, he's kind of going to get fucked out of a few of the titles. So we got to kind of come up with something good to do for the guy, because he's wonderful.
Just giving you a heads up there, mate. If he hasn't heard already. But vinyl is still very much on the deal for this new record, and probably some deluxe versions, I would say.
For sure.
And when it comes to the merch table, what's the weirdest thing you've ever put on the merch table?
Well, we sell some personal items from time to time, like an old guitar pedal that doesn't work anymore, or a cowboy hat,
a pint of blood.
We've sold some pot at the merch booth before. We've given out shots of booze, all things that are completely illegal and you're not supposed to be doing. But yeah, just usually like some sort of personal thing, like a cowboy hat, or an old guitar strap, or just some sort of used memorabilia, game worn items.
Is there any merchandise pitch you've had that you had to knock back because it was just too ridiculous?
No, not really. People have offered to do goofy things for us, like, I'm going to make dolls of you. And we're like, okay, so there's going to be like a contest to see which doll sells the most. That doesn't sound fun for the members of the band, but just goofy stuff like that never really happens.
Got it. Have you had a Supersuckers strain of weed made yet?
No, but that would be awesome.
Okay. All right. Only available in certain states, of course.
Right. Exactly.
And definitely not Australia, unfortunately.
Yeah, you're still behind the times there in Australia.
Yeah. We're heading some areas behind in the others, but our healthcare CEOs are much safer than yours. For now, if anyone listens. So any special provisions besides the board shorts, besides anything, what can the Australian audience expect out of you? I know there's the Nashville Pussy you guys are on the same bill with. What can the audience expect from the Supersuckers this time around?
Well, you can expect us to be way better than Nashville Pussy. Okay. We're going to kick their ass every night. That's just what we do. No, I mean, we're just going to bring our regular, round pounder and heavy organ rock show to the Down Under, and, tell people to make sure to wear their clean underwear, because we're going to rock their pants right off them.
And then put them on the merch table.
Exactly. Then sign them and sell them.
Very good. All right. Well, Eddie, we are looking forward to hosting you guys down under here. Again, Supersuckers with Nashville Pussy, Sydney, Brisbane, Melbourne, Adelaide. Pull your finger out and get your tickets at hardlinemedia.net. See these two bands together. It's going to be marvelous. Eddie's very convinced that Supersuckers are going to edge out Nashville Pussy. I would say it's going to be very close. So make sure you are on site and make your own choice there. Eddie, thank you so much for coming on the Vinyl Guide, mate. And we'll talk further once you have those new albums or reissues ready.
Awesome.
By the way, is it Supersuckers or the Supersuckers?
Yes.
Great. Thanks for the clarity. All right, Eddie. We'll see you down under. Travel safe, mate.
All right. Cheers, brother. Thanks.
See you. All righty, there he is, Mr. Eddie Spaghetti. Nice guy, and man, what a killer band. Make sure you check them out when you can. Australia, they're on their way now. Hardlinemedia.net. Sydney, Brisbane, Melbourne, Adelaide. Get your tickets now. Do not miss these shows. And that's it for this episode of The Vinyl Guide. Thank you so much for tuning in, everyone. And appreciate everyone who shares these episodes on social media, whatever's left of it anyway. Reddit forums or Facebook groups, or you know what you guys do. Just getting it out there is a huge help, and want to thank everyone who does that. So we'll be back shortly with a brand new episode. So until we talk next time, get out there and support your local music scene, everyone. Cheerio.